Hey everybody, welcome back to Liz's Artisan Shop. Today I have some pretty serious news. I understand that not everyone's going to react in the same way to this, and I went back and forth on whether or not to really share this information. Some people may be happy, some people may be not so impressed, but I really, I woke up thinking I have to be my true self, and I have to tell you that I got a kitty cat. Oh, isn't she darling? Say hello to Juniper. And she's amazing. And she's so cute. All right, today we're making charcuterie boards, so stay tuned. For this board, I decided to use Pro Pour by ProMarine. I really like their casting resin. Make sure you follow the directions on any of your resins. This is a 1:2 ratio, and they suggest mixing in one container, and then after mixing for 4 to 5 minutes, pouring it into separate containers. So I'm starting with some teal and some dark green, then adding in some gold, and incorporating that. I just like to play around with colors. Sometimes I'll mix and then add a little bit more. That's part of the fun and the artistic expression. I really love that purple and gold mix that I'm mixing there. Just gives a slight gold shimmer. And then I added some copper. A lot of my micas I purchased from Wholesale Supplies Plus. You can check out their website. I'll put a link in the description below. So that's some sapphire blue from Counterculture DIY, and then some mica from Wholesale Supplies Plus, and some more gold. And the fun of it is just, creating your own concoctions. I like to do multiple pours and experiment with different color variants there. I'm using Walnut, which is an older piece of wood that I found that had some worm damage. So I was excited to see how the resin filled up the different wormholes. And so in hindsight, when I demolded it, I probably should have fully submerged the piece, but I just wasn't sure how deep those holes went. So I ended up going back, which I'll show you in a few minutes, and pouring some more resin. Now all the colors are incorporated in the piece. I didn't mix it. I wanted to see how it was just doing a pour like that. And in 2 days, I will demold. And here we are. I can see some pockets that didn't quite fully submerge in the resin, some air bubbles, so I'll show you how to fix those in a second. I bought my mold off of craftedelements.com. They're an amazing company out of Canada and very reasonable in their pricing and their shipping costs. I love these molds. I have 3 of them and I use them all the time. I'm showing you there that some of the resin seeped through because of those wormholes, went all the way through the board. But I'm okay with that because when I go to plane it, it actually creates a nice flat surface still that I can reference with my planer. And now I'm using just 60 grit to take some of the sharp edges off of the resin. I want to save my planer blades from just any damage that the hard resin can do. And I went ahead and left the back because it was nice and flat. If you're enjoying these videos, please take a second to like and subscribe. Now I'm taking my epoxy board through my DeWalt planer. I'm just doing quarter passes. I don't want to take too much off. I really want to preserve the thickness of the board, and I just want to create a space where the resin is flush with the walnut. Now I'm just flipping the board over and planing the other side since I have a nice flat surface to reference on my epoxy board. Again, just wanting the epoxy to be flush with the walnut. Now I'm just pouring some more casting resin with teal and purple micas just to fill in some of those wormholes. And I went ahead and let that sit for 2 days before doing some light planing to get the board even again. And after I planed that side, I did the same on the other side that had wormholes as well. Then I went ahead and squared the board up with my miter saw, using the edge as a reference since the mold creates a nice straight edge. And then I'm just taking my roller to make sure that I have a nice 90-degree angle there. Now I'm taking a chamfer bit around the edges with my Makita router. I like to do this just to create some eye candy, you know, just make this board pop, make people just beg for it. Please, please let me buy your board, please. It has that chamfer bit around the edges, I just have to have it. And that stuff gets everywhere, not gonna lie. Working with epoxy is really messy. And since I still had a few holes in my board, I went ahead and used some Star Bond thick CA glue. I used their medium and thin. I love this company. It saved me multiple times in projects. Their accelerator's great. It speeds up the process. I'll put a link down below so you can find their products. After the glue set, I went ahead and started with some 150 grit on my orbital sander. Then I raised the grain and knocked that down with another 150 grit sand. And then I switched to 220 and 320. Rubio actually suggests that you only go up to 150. So I went ahead and went back with 150 just over the walnut, just to ensure that it was porous enough to take the hard wax. And now I'm mixing the Rubio. I use the pure, so it's not tinted or pigmented. That way it doesn't discolor my board. It's a 3-to-1 ratio, so 3 parts of the oil to 1 part of the accelerator. When you use the accelerator, boards cure in about, I think it's a week. Without it, it takes a few weeks. And a little bit goes a long way. I'm just drizzling some on and then using an old credit card to spread it, and then using a non-abrasive pad to work it more into the board. After covering both sides and using the non-abrasive pad on both sides, I let it sit for 5 minutes, and then I wipe it down with paper towels, and then finally a soft cloth just to ensure that I've removed all of the hard wax. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like these.